Picture this. You're being dragged through the streets of Thebes, completely naked. Your nose is cut off. Your crime is tattooed across your forehead. You're not just being punished. You're being annihilated, stripped of all your dignity, and then branded for life. It's not an uncommon scene in ancient Egypt, one of the most advanced civilizations in human history. Some punishments weren't just meant to inflict pain. They were designed to utterly humiliate, brutally, publicly. When we think of ancient Egypt, we imagine pyramids, divine pharaohs, golden tombs, and mystical gods. Beneath that splendor lay a society under the strictures of order, Mayat, the principle of truth, balance, and justice. Breaking that order wasn't just a legal offense. It was an offense against the universe itself, and the Egyptians believed that justice had to restore cosmic balance, not just legally, but socially and spiritually. So punishment often meant public disgrace, painful shame, a lesson for everyone watching. And that's where the humiliating punishments came in. Let's start with one of the most dehumanizing, mutilation of the nose. Known from both written and visual sources, the act of cutting off a criminal's nose was reserved for crimes like adultery, temple robbery, or even speaking out against the king. Why the nose? Because it was visible, always. It marked you as a traitor for life. Everyone who saw you knew what you'd done. The Egyptian word for nose, ash, or ashen, was closely related to ideas of identity and breath, the very essence of life. To remove it was to symbolically remove your place in society. Even worse, for temple servants or scribes who relied on social interaction and trust, this punishment meant exile from both work and community. This wasn't just about pain. It was a lifelong curse, worn on your face. Next, let's talk tattoos, but not the artistic kind. For repeat offenders and enslaved people, authorities sometimes tattooed the crime directly onto the body. Imagine being inked permanently with a label like thief, deserter, or prostitute. One inscription from Deir el-Medina even describes female servants marked for sleeping with high officials. These women were often branded on the arms or back, the same places they might carry baskets or serve wine. Every motion reminded them, and others, of their shame. Egyptian tattoos weren't always punitive. In many cases, they were spiritual or decorative, but when used as punishment, they were irreversible, public, and deeply humiliating. Another favorite tool of disgrace, public parading and flogging. The convicted might be stripped, tied to a pole, or made to walk through busy markets while being whipped by guards. Spectators were encouraged to mock, jeer, or even spit. This wasn't just to punish the guilty. It was to scare the living daylights out of everyone else. Imagine being a scribe caught altering documents. You're hauled to the temple courtyard, tied down, and whipped in front of your peers. Your scrolls burned in front of your eyes, and then you're demoted, or worse, marked, forever unclean. That's what happened in some high-profile temple cases, where even intellectual crimes were punished with raw, public humiliation. Forced labor is a known punishment across civilizations, but in Egypt, it came with added disgrace. Convicts could be sent to the quarries of Tura or the mines of Sinai, or to forced labor gangs digging canals in back-breaking conditions. It was the loss of status that was so humiliating. If you were once a priest, a noble steward, or even a mid-level artisan, being chained alongside common criminals was a fate worse than death. One chilling papyrus describes a disgraced court official shackled at the feet, wearing only a linen kilt, hauling stone blocks under the desert sun, while temple scribes documented every whip of the lash. He wasn't just punished, he was reduced. Let's address the silent part of history. Punishments targeting female dignity. Women in ancient Egypt had more rights than many of their counterparts elsewhere in the ancient world. They could own property, sue, and even divorce. But when they crossed the line, especially in sexual or religious offenses, the punishment was deeply gendered. Women caught in adultery or prostitution could be stripped and shaved, including eyebrows, a sacred sign of beauty, publicly exposed, tied to gates or city entrances, branded or tattooed with their crime. Egyptian society valued both order and modesty, and exposing or marking a woman's body was considered the ultimate disgrace. There are hints in tomb records of women punished this way, even within temple service. including a chantress of Amun who was demoted and publicly flogged after being accused of impurity. Perhaps the cruelest punishment of all, damnatio memoriae, the erasure of one's memory. If your crime was seen as treasonous or a deep offense against the gods or pharaoh, your punishment might continue after death. Your name chiseled off your tomb, your statues destroyed, your body denied mummification. In ancient Egypt, the afterlife was everything. To be denied burial rituals wasn't just a punishment, it was annihilation. A soul without a name could not live forever. You weren't just erased from the record, you were erased from eternity. And for the Egyptians, that was the most terrifying punishment of all. We often think ancient punishments were all about pain, whips, chains, blades. But in Egypt, the real weapon was humiliation, public disgrace, social death, the denial of legacy. These punishments didn't just hurt the body, they crushed the soul. And in a society obsessed with eternity, that was a fate worse than death. Justice in ancient Egypt wasn't just about crime and consequence. It was about social balance, public order, and eternal symbolism. The punishments weren't arbitrary. They were psychological tools, crafted to break the individual and warn the collective. Modern justice may be more sanitized, but digital shaming, online mobs, and cancel culture share eerie parallels. Have we truly moved on from the spectacle of humiliation, or have we just digitized it? What do you think? Which punishment shocked you most? Do you think shame can be more powerful than pain? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new, and don't forget to subscribe for more brutal, forgotten truths from history. Thanks for watching, and for remembering the stories most were meant to forget. Enjoyed the video? Please like, subscribe, and share with friends. Your support helps us bring back forgotten stories. Thanks.